Good morning, children. Welcome again in science class. So today again we'll continue chapter human reproduction, and in this the subtopic is female reproductive system. Children, we have already studied about the male reproductive system in our previous video. Now the female reproductive system, it consists of pairs of ovary, then fallopian tubes, or we can also say oviducts, uterus, vagina, vulva, and accessories in genital glands and mammary glands. Now all these organs, they are structurally and functionally, they support the process of ovulation, fertilization, pregnancy, childbirth, and childbearing. So let's go for ovary. As you see, children, the location, shape and size that each ovary, they lie near the kidney of its sides. They are suspended from the dorsal body wall by a mesentery called mesovarium, and it is attached to the uterus by a double fold of peritoneum called ovarian ligament. Now each ovary, it is almond shaped, solid, grayish pink in color, and measuring about 2 to 4 centimeter length, 1.5 centimeter width, and 1.0 centimeter in thickness. So see, children, now these are two ovaries, then oviduct, or we can also say fallopian tube. Now this is divided into three parts: ampulla, infundibulum, fibria, and isthmus. Now this is the cervical canal and the cervix of the uterus, vagina, and these are the walls: the endometrium, then myometrium, and perimetrium. Now this one is the uterus part, and this is uterine fundus. Okay, so this is the front view of the female reproductive system. Now these ovaries, they also perform the function of exocrine glands, that is, they produce the ova, and they also behave as an endocrine function because they secrete female sex hormone, estrogen and progesterone. So let's come to microscopic anatomy of ovary. Now each ovary, they are solid structure and consist of ovarian or germinal epithelium, now tunica albuginea and stroma. Now ovarian or the germinal epithelium, it is the outermost layer of ovary which formed of simple cuboidal cells. Actually, it is a modified visceral peritoneum. Now tunica albuginea, it is purely differentiated capsule of dense fibrous connective tissue that lies below ovarian epithelium. Now this stroma, it consists of two main parts: the ovarian cortex and the ovarian medulla. The ovarian cortex, it is a dense part of ovary which is present outside the area, and it contains young and mature follicles, and they also contain large mass of yellowish cells called corpus luteum, which is formed in the atrium of ruptured graphene follicle after the release of the ovum. Now corpus luteum, it secretes hormone progesterone during pregnancy and hormone relaxing towards the end of pregnancy. Now ovarian cortex, it has white mass body. It is known as corpus albicans, which represent the degenerating corpus luteum. Ovarian medulla, it contains many rounded oval bodies called ovarian follicles, which are found in various stages of development. Each follicle, it contains large ovum which is surrounded by many layers of follicle cells. Now when these follicle cells, they get mature, they secrete hormone estrogen into the blood. So here is the TS of the ovary, and it shows the different phases of oogenesis. So this is the primary follicle and they are growing follicle. Then after that, then Fibrous connective tissues are formed and germinal epithelium is present here. Now this is the growing follicle. See here, growth. Okay. Now it becomes the mature graphic follicle, which has the different layers. Corona radiata, then zona palladica, the middle one, and this is the ovum, and this is the follicular cavity. It has two walls, theca externa and theca interna. Now, after rupturing the graphene follicle, this ovum is released, and this is the corpus luteum, and this one is the blood clot. And again, primary oocyte is here. Okay. Now, what is ovarian follicle? Now, these ovonia, they are formed only in the fetus. Okay. And after the birth of the child, birth of the baby girl, no more ovonia are formed. Now these ovonium, they undergoes mitosis to form two primary oocytes. And these primary oocytes, they are surrounded by a layer of granulosa cells called and forms primary follicle. Now, large number of follicles, they get degenerate during this phase from the birth to the puberty. So, after birth till puberty, lots of follicles, they get degenerate. So, at birth, 2 lakhs to 20 lakhs primary oocytes are present in each ovary. So, at the time of birth, 2 lakhs to 20 lakhs of primary oocytes are present in each ovary, and about 60,000 to 18,000 remains at puberty. Now see children, 2 lakhs to 20 lakhs. Now it becomes 60 to 80,000 at the time of puberty. And around 400 mature and ovulate during a woman's reproductive life. So whole reproductive life of a woman, near about 400 mature ovums are there. And rest of the follicles, they get degenerate. The number of follicles developed during each menstrual cycle, only one ruptures to release the ovum, and remaining they get degenerate and they are called atretic follicles or the follicular atresia. Now this ovum, which is released, it is haploid and in the secondary oocyte state. So we can say that in human female, one graphene follicle matures on an average of every 28 days in alternate ovaries, and about 13 follicles mature every year from the age of 13 years to 45 to 50 years. Okay, so till 45 to 50 years, each year they near about 13 follicles they get mature. Okay, so next is the fallopian tubes or the oviducts. They are about 10 to 12 centimeter long and they are extending from the periphery of each ovary to the uterus, and they consist of particular 4 parts: the infundibulum, ampulla, isthmus, uterine part. Now infundibulum, it is the proximal part which is close to the ovary, and its margin, they have finger-like process called fimbriae. The ampulla, which is a long, wide and thin-walled part of the fallopian tube which is next to the infundibulum, and isthmus is the next short, narrow and thick-walled portion of the fallopian tube. Now uterine part, it passes through the uterine wall and opens in the uterus. So what is the function of this fallopian tube? Now this fallopian tube, they convey ovum from the ovary to the uterus, and fertilization of ovum takes place in the upper portion of the ampulla isthmus junction of the fallopian tube. So question is asked, where does fertilization takes place in females? So it takes place in the upper portion of the fallopian tube. Okay. Next comes the uterus. Now uterus is a hollow inverted pear-shaped structure which has thick muscular walls, and it lies in the pelvic cavity between urinary bladder and rectum. Now this again has four main parts: fundus, cornua, body or corpus, and cervix. Now the cavity of cervix is called cervical canal, and the cervical canal, it is about 2.5 centimeter long, and it communicates above with the body of uterus by an aperture called internal os, and with the vagina below by an opening, the external os. Now, this cervical canal, they secrete mucus, which has particular functions. They provide lubrication during sexual intercourse. They help in sperm transportation. They also increase response to estrogen, and they also form mucus plug during the pregnancy. Now, the wall of the uterus, they have three main layers: the perimetrium, myometrium, and endometrium. So, what is the function of this uterus? They receive ovum from the fallopian tubes, form placenta for the attachment of fetus, and expels the baby at birth. So, rest of the parts we'll discuss in our next video. Till then, thank you and have a nice day.